Okay, this is starting with Ray Bradbury quotes from the Holy Grail of Wisdom, quotes by me, Pete Rogers. So, Ray Bradbury, he was a pretty good writer. He's an American writer. You know, he's lived from 1920 to 2012. And what I like about him is he's kind of poor when he was young. He would just go to the library and read a lot. And he even started typing just when he would pay, 10 cents to type for 30 minutes on a coin-operated typewriter. So these are some quotes by Ray Bradbury. His best book was like that Fahrenheit 451. I discovered me in the library. I went to find me in the library. The public library is better than college. People should educate themselves. You can get a complete education for no money. I read all the short stories. And by the way, yeah, you can get a complete education. You can really learn something on your own just reading. But the only catch is like, why go to college so you get degrees and certifications to move to the next step? I really do wish there were more just take a test and prove that you know something rather than go to college, because college is way too expensive. I think as it goes more online, hopefully there'll be more meritocracy and competition, but a lot of colleges are probably going to go bankrupt. Anyways, Ray Bradbury continues, I read all the short stories by all the great American writers, a lot of Europeans, so it gets into your bloodstream. And then I read the great essays, the great poetry, going back about 200, 300 years. And you learn from them secretly. Then when you write, they give you all these secrets that come out automatically in your writing. If you stuff yourself full of poems and essays and plays and stories and novels and films and comic strips and music, you automatically erupt every morning like Old Faithful. I never had a dry spell in my life, mainly because I feed myself to the point of bursting. Yeah, that's true. People who read a lot, basically the more you read, the more you write. But you also, what you read, you'll tend to write something kind of like that. So you want to spend most of your time reading writers who you think are really good if you want to write in the same way they do. Okay, Ray Bradbury continues. Let me move my picture here. He says, I wake up early and hear my morning voices leaping around in my head like jumping beans, and I get out of bed to trap them before they escape. And then here he is from Fahrenheit 451 about book burning. You don't have to burn books to destroy a culture. Just get people to stop reading them. Yeah, and I think that maybe is part of a lot of modern culture. If you get people to stop reading, people are getting separated from their history. You know, it used to be everybody studied the ancient Greeks and the ancient Romans, which is a very valuable thing. Because what I've seen that's nice about the ancient Greeks and Romans, you can talk about human behavior and nobody takes it personally. If you talk about any type of even semi-modern event, all kinds of people are offended by this race or gender or whatever BS. But no one cares about that with the ancient Greeks and Romans, so you can have a real conversation and learn something useful from it. Plus, they did a lot of great things. Okay, Ray Bradbury, digression is the soul of wit. Take digression from Hamlet, and what have you got? Okay, a new person for quotes, Charles Bradlaugh. And let me just scroll so we can do the whole quote all at once here. Charles Bradlaugh said, without free speech, no search for truth is possible. Without free speech, progress is checked, and the nations no longer march forward toward the nobler life. Better a 1,000-fold abuse of free speech than denial of free speech. The abuse dies in a day, but the denial stays the life of people, and it entombs hope. Yeah, so whenever you hear somebody say, oh, they want to get rid of hate speech and misinformation, no, what they really want to do is censor people. They want to shut up the truth tellers so that the trolls will be kept in darkness and they'll be easy to control like good little sheep. Okay, next quote. Yeah, basically, without free speech, no search for the truth is possible. Yep, and there's been a lot of other people who said the same thing, and it's obviously true. And that's also, you can know who has good intentions. Somebody who allows free speech is allowing some type of discussion. That was the great thing about the ancient Greeks, was they allowed more free speech than any of these other ancient cultures. Okay, just a few more here. We'll do F.H. Bradley. He says, up until a certain point, every man is what he thinks he is. You do not understand a man until you understand him from how he understands himself. Yeah, and that's really valuable. Same thing with a woman. You don't understand a woman unless you know what she thinks she is, who she thinks she is, and what her goals are. And the same thing with a guy. His behavior might seem strange, but when you understand where he's coming from, then you can make sense of it. So that's an important point. You can't just look at it in your own objective perspective. So those are our quotes for today in the letter B. Hope that was helpful.